What's up, G.I. Joe fans? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. I'll be your curator today. Guys, we got another cool one for you. A blast from the past, if you will. All the way from 2002. Our timeless collection series. We bring you the G.I. Joe Timeless Collection Talking Action Sailor. Real die-cast accessories. This was a figure. I purchased this figure back in 2002 from a Target. And let's bring this guy down. A fantastic figure. This box is extremely heavy because of all of the die-cast accessories that was included with this beautiful figure. This figure retailed back then at nearly $40. This was not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. It was very expensive. Rightfully so. Look at the just tons and tons of accessories, and the majority of these accessories are die-cast metal. His rifle right here, die-cast metal. A beautiful paint job, die-cast metal. This was a figure set that I absolutely had to have in my G.I. Joe collection. This is a beautiful figure. Well done. Reminiscent of the vintage figures from the 1960s. And that's what it was all about for G.I. Joe collectors during the mid to late 1990s, when these vintage figures started to get re-released and reissued by Hasbro. The G.I. Joe collecting community flipped out. I mean, it absolutely went nuts. They had to have these figures. These figures, you couldn't keep these figures on the toy store shelves. And just fantastic. And we're gonna go. I want to show you a list of all the. Let's. I want to turn the box around a little bit because I think we can get a better understanding what's die-cast metal. I know everything that's die-cast metal. I want to see if we can just show it to you rather than me telling you. So we're gonna turn this box around real quick here. Let's get you a blown out look of the back of the box. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Here's a backstory here on a talking action sailor. Let's get you a year while we're back here. 2002. Here's the equipment list. And look at the die-cast equipment here. You have die-cast Shore Patrol helmet. The helmet is die-cast. The die-cast 30 caliber machine gun with tripod. Die-cast USN ammo box. Die-cast 45 caliber pistol. His 45 caliber pistol is die-cast metal. How cool is that? Die-cast Shore Patrol field radio, and that's where I think a lot of that weight is coming from. That field Shore Patrol field radio is extremely heavy. Holster, billy club, belt, dog tag with chain, and you know this is a talking G.I. Joe. So, and what you would do, you can see here, try me. and just pull the dog tag. And I'm not going to do it, it's been so long. But you pull that dog tag in the chest area, and he would shout out commands. And these were actually the commands he would shout out. Guys, what do you think of our timeless collection, talking action sailor? Do you remember this guy? Look at his 45 caliber pistol back there, die cast metal. Do you have this guy in your collection? Once again, these are the classic vintage styled G.I. Joes that I absolutely had to have all of these guys in my collection. To get a vintage G.I. Joe 1964, 1967 G.I. Joe figure, mint in box, would be astronomically high. It would be the price would be simply out of this world. Guys, to be honest with you, I don't know too many collectors that possess a mint in box 1967 or 64 or anything in the 60s G.I. Joe vintage figure. There's not too many of them around, which lends my collection to be so unique. And people look at my museum and say, man, that's crazy. Everything is mint in box. That concept is lost on a lot of collectors. And, as kids growing up in the 60s and 70s, we were kids. We didn't think about, nobody thought about keeping stuff in a box. Who thought about keeping stuff in their box? We wanted to open it up and we wanted to play with it. If we could get into a time machine and go in the future to our older selves, yeah, we'd be kicking ourselves. But that was the pure joy and connection that we had with these beautiful G.I. Joe figures growing up. And that's why we're collectors now, But so that's to say all of that, to say that, that's why you don't have a lot of vintage figures mint in box. I mean, it's pretty much non-existent at this point. And our job, though, here at the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum is to track down as many artifacts that's in mint condition as we possibly can, because we are here. Our mission for our museum is to preserve and protect the historical value of these beautiful toy lines. And G.I. Joe is one of the more popular and fantastic toy lines that's ever been made. He is in the Hall of Fame, the Toy Hall of Fame. It took too long, if you ask me. He should have been in there a decade or so ago, or longer period than that. He should have been in there a long time ago. But just a beautiful, beautiful figure, and the outfit. You can see our talking action sailor is factory sealed. And this was a cool concept by Hasbro to come back out with all of the figures that they made in the 1960s and re-release them. And then really the icing on the cake, if you will, was to do mostly all of the accessories in die-cast metal. That added a little flavor, a little extra spice to these figure sets. And that's why the collectors, the G.I. Joe collecting community, went crazy, because they really wanted these sets, because now you got real die-cast metal accessories to go along with your G.I. Joe. And that added more value, in a sense, in collectors' minds. That added more value, to these figure sets. but just a fantastic, fantastic figure. I'm trying to get you every angle of this beautiful G.I. Joe. Get you as close as we can to these die-cast metal weapons. And when I say this box is extremely heavy, it is extremely, extremely heavy. Beautiful head sculpt. That's the classic vintage G.I. Joe head sculpt that we've come to know and love. It's truly iconic. The vintage hand sculpts there. And this thing right here is this big radio box here. It's massive, and it's all die-cast metal, solid die-cast metal, which really makes this entire box super heavy, and everything's locked in really good. And you have to with these big die-cast metal pieces, because they get to shifting and moving. They're gonna, they'll come loose. Guys, what do you think of our talking action sailor timeless collection figure? Guys, we want to hear your take on it. Leave your comments right underneath this video in the comment section. We love to hear back from you guys. We enjoy conversing with you guys and reading the comments. I'll get a cup of coffee, guys, and I'll just sit and read all the comments. I try to answer as quickly as I possibly can, but I answer all of the comments. I try to respond to all of the comments, good or bad or indifferent. I try to respond to all of the comments, guys, even to the people that absolutely hate my channel. It's true, guys. There's a few out there, but we love everybody. We enjoy doing this. This is so much fun. And like I said, just owning a museum of all these beautiful figures. What better way than to share these figures with you guys? Guys, we'd like to thank you for hanging out with us today. You know the routine, guys. God bless. And keep collecting.